messieurs and mademoiselles. It is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight. And now, we invite you to relax. Let's pull up a chair as the elementary proudly presents some learning. Be our guest, be our guest. Put our service to the test. Take your child by the hand, Sherry, and we'll provide the rest. Reading, phonics, fluency, improve skills we guarantee. Try the new stuff, it's stupendous. Don't believe me, ask the students. They can sing, they'll have fun. Reading skills are number one, and the learning here is never second best. Go on, unfold your mind. Take a glance and find you'll be our guest. Be our guest, be our guest. Reading cubes, learning play, dice and letters, hip hooray. We'll prepare and learn with flair, a learning cabaret. You're on board and you've shared, but the meeting's all prepared. No one's gloomy or complaining while the teacher's entertaining. We tell jokes, I do tricks with my future reading tips, and it's all in perfect taste that you can bet. Reading is a gas, you've won your own free pass to be our guest. If you're stressed, it's shared reading we suggest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest, please be our guest.
Hi everyone, my name is Laura Inkrat and I'm the Director of Curriculum and Instruction for Northridge Local Schools. Together with Milton-Union and Bradford Schools, we are so thankful you are spending some time with us tonight for this virtual literacy event. Before I hand it over to Lisa Combs, we have a few housekeeping items. Your cameras are turned off and your microphones are muted. This is being recorded and will be posted to each district's website and/or social media. We will have also about 5 minutes for Q&A with Lisa after she's done explaining the activities she is showing us tonight. And you can type your questions in the chat box below. There will be a short survey after the session ends, so please take a couple minutes to complete that. We would love to have your feedback as we plan future virtual literacy events. If you've completed the survey at a previous session, you don't need to complete the survey again unless you have any new feedback to provide. All right, Lisa, I'll hand it over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Laura. And guys, I have a great activity for you guys tonight. I just got done with dinner myself, and everybody knows how crazy our evenings can get. It seems like we just get home from school and work, and the time is just flying before we know it. It's bedtime. So people are pressed for time. And I think now back to my mom's day when I was the youngest of 6 kids. So I cannot even imagine what her evenings were like, trying to get us all fed and get our homework done, get us bathed and ready for bed. But my mom was super smart because she used to think up games for us to play to keep us out of her hair while she was making dinner. So this one's dedicated to my mom, and hopefully it's going to be helpful to you guys who find yourselves kind of multitasking and having a million things to do, but also really wanting to continue working with your child on their word building and word reading skills. And so this one I call macaroni and cheese, just because it's a fun name that reminds us that sometimes this is what my mom did, is she would take whatever we were having for dinner and she would write it at the top of a piece of paper. And then while she was cooking dinner, my job was to see how many words I could make out of the letters in that phrase or word. So it might be spaghetti and meatballs, or it might be macaroni and cheese, or it might be pork chops and applesauce. So you can pick a big word, you can pick a little word. You could even have your child pick the word. So instead of whatever you're eating for dinner, you could send your child to the pantry to grab a box or a jar and use a word off of that if you need to. The idea is to help kids see that words are all around us. They're in our language that we speak, and on our dinner table, we have words to describe what we're eating. So it's really to kind of bring reading and writing into our environment that we live in every day and have some fun with it too, and maybe buy you guys as parents just a little bit of sanity in the evening. So I'm going to give you a couple different ways to play this. So for your kiddos who are pretty new at building words and creating words out of other words and letters, they may need to have their hands on them, like those Legos that we talked about. Because remember, we can help kids understand that letters can be switched around and combined in new and different ways to make words. If you've been with us for our other sessions, we've talked about that. And so for some kids, when they're first learning to read, you may write the word macaroni on your whiteboard and have them find the letters in their box so that they can spell it out in letter tiles. So that's the first part of the activity for them. Is to actually find those letters. That's helping them even with the order that the letters are in the alphabet, which is a really important skill. And so when they have to go find those letters, they're using visual discrimination, and they're also using their alphabetic principles to find where those letters are in the boxes. And so some of them are probably getting pretty good at remembering that the A, E, I, O, and U are red. That helps them find them quicker. That's also helping them remember that pattern of the vowels being a different color than those consonants. So that in itself is a really good activity. And you could do just that if you wanted to, and you're a little limited on time. Or maybe your child's not to the point yet where they're making a lot of words by themselves, and you don't necessarily have time to sit down with them and do it right then. You could just write the word and let them find the letters, and you're working on 2 or 3 really important things. But the next thing that you can do is say, okay, while I'm making the macaroni, see how many words you can make with the letters. Pull them down and rearrange them. So we could make, let's see, I see one right away. Car. We could put those letters back, and we could make on. So you can make small words, or you might want to try to make bigger words. If your child is a little bit older, they might be able to make some more words. But what they want to do is just play and see how many different words they can make. Now, the next step is if your child is already writing fairly well, they could make a list of all the words as they create them. They could make car, and then they could use their dry erase marker to write car down and keep a list of all the words that they made. So that's one way that you can play it. You can make it even more challenging for your child. If maybe they're a little more advanced than that and they want a challenge, you can actually set the timer. And if you have time to play it with them, oh my gosh, that would be even better. Because you know what, when they see you doing something with them, they go, this must be important. Mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or brother or sister are taking time out to play this with me. So it makes it way more fun. So if you do that, you can take turns. So let's say you and I are playing together. I'm going to give you the word, spaghetti. And we're going to set the timer and see how many words you can make in 30 seconds. And you can either have them move the letters around, or you can just have them write with the dry erase marker to see how many. So with that, I'm going to start my timer. If it's my turn, I'm going to start that timer, and I'm going to go, oh my goodness, let's see. I could make peg. I could make hat. I could make tip. I could make spit. What else could I make? So I'm going to do that until my timer goes off, and then I get to count, and there's my timer. I get to count how many words I made. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just like with our other games, if you've been playing along with us, I get to put my initial, and I get to put 4 for my score on that. And then it would be your turn and I would get to give you a word. So maybe I would give you applesauce, and you would have to come up with as many words as you could out of applesauce before your 30 seconds went up. So that's an easy way to play it. But you know what? We all are going a million miles an hour, and we're busy. We're going to doctor's appointments, and we're taking the kids to school. So you don't have to use this with the magnet boards. If you've got kids that don't need to actually move those letters around like Legos, and they can just look at the word, you can actually use your journal that we have given you to play the same game anywhere. So, and if you've got two kids that each have the journal, they could have a game where they're each keeping track in their own book. So in this one, I wrote applesauce at the top of the box, and then I set the timer, or we don't have to time it if the kids just want to work on it at their own pace, to come up with how many different words you can make from the letters in applesauce. Just right off the bat, I came up with all of these different words. If you want to take it to the next level, if you've got maybe a second grader who wants to play with writing sentences, you could challenge them to use some of those words in a sentence. So one of the sentences I made was, my pal and I had to peel the apple to make sauce. So I was able to not only come up with all those words from applesauce, but I could put it in a sentence. And they could even illustrate it if they wanted to. So that's hopefully kind of several different activities that you can do from one activity. We always want to make sure that we adjust it to where your child will have fun with it and not be frustrated. So keep it simple, keep it easy, keep it fun. And if you have any way to stop what you're doing and play it with them, even better yet. Do we have any questions tonight?
You did such a great job, Lisa. Explain it. No questions so far.
Okay.
But
well,
while we
let
give
them think
them,
about it for just a minute.
Yep.
And you know what? Rush was talking over the last couple weeks. If you have older kids and are tuning into Rush Rogers, she talks about a lot about encouraging kids to find words that they are enthralled by. Enthralled might be one of those words. That would be a great word if they're keeping a journal or a list of some sort of words that they're curious about. That would be a great place to let them pull words from to play this game. So you could, it doesn't have to be about what you have for dinner. It could be a word you see on a sign when you're driving that becomes the word that they, it's a way to learn a new, bigger word and still be able to play with those letters like Lego blocks, like we talked about before. Any questions yet, Laura?
No questions. No.
Okay.
I personally just really love how you can just differentiate it and change it based on your child's level and interest. And it's just a great, simple and easy game to play. So thank you so much, Lisa.
You're welcome. And remember, with the timer, I almost didn't include a timer in your packet, in your tote bag when we planned it out, because some kids get really nervous the minute that timer starts. That's how I was when I was a kid. I could read and write all day. I could do math problems, but boy, the minute you started a timer, it was like my brain just froze up. And so you have to kind of know your kiddo. Some kids really don't like being timed, and it's not that important how fast we do it, but some kids like the challenge, and it makes it more like a board game or like a game that they might play for fun. So you have to kind of know your kids and know whether they'll like that timer going on.
All right, Lisa, we don't have any questions, so I think we'll wrap it up if you're okay with that.
Absolutely. You guys have a wonderful night.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Be sure when you are playing the games, take pictures and send it to your child's teacher or your building principal, and your pictures will be added to the intro video. So thanks so much, everybody, and we'll see you next Tuesday for another round of games. Thanks. See ya.
Bye.